各位记者朋友，大家下午。
Good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. The floor is open.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问。据报道，近日印度海军
CCTV, it's reported that Indian Navy and Coast Guard recently rescued an accidentally injured Chinese mariner off Mumbai coast and took him to hospital. What's your comment? Most recently, a Chinese mariner was accidentally injured when operating on a ship off Mumbai coast. The Indian side swiftly came to his rescue and provided him with timely medical treatment. He is now in stable condition and recovering back in China. The Chinese side expresses its heartfelt appreciation to all the departments and personnel of the Indian side who overcame the challenging conditions on the scene and successfully carried out this humanitarian rescue operation. Next one, please.
谢谢发言人。东方卫视记者提问。那么我们关注到一则报道，提到说，日前朝鲜方面。
Dragon TV, it's reported that the DPRK recently commemorated the 71st anniversary of the armistice of the Korean War. Ambassadors of Russia, Vietnam, and Cuba and so on attended the event, but the Chinese ambassador was not spotted there. Some say that this is yet another sign that the relationship between China and the DPRK is experiencing issues and that China and Russia are competing over the relationship with the DPRK. What's your comment? This year marks the 71st anniversary of the armistice of the Korean War. 71 years ago, the Chinese People's Volunteers fought alongside the Korean people and troops, and together achieved a resounding victory in the war to resist U.S. aggression and aid Korea and the Fatherland Liberation War. In that process, China and the DPRK forged with blood an unbreakable friendship. Despite the transformation in the international regional landscape, the CPC and the Chinese government have never changed the importance they attach and their commitment to the traditional friendship and cooperative relationship between China and the DPRK. Lately, certain countries and media outlets have been speculating and asserting that there have been issues between China-DPRK relationship, or there is a China-Russia contest over relations with the DPRK. These are ill-motivated claims. Let me stress that both DPRK and Russia are China's friendly neighbors. China is happy to see the DPRK and Russia grow their ties and play a constructive role for the peace and stability in the region. Next one, please.
Mahdi Faraj from Rudao Media Network.
Rudao. 哈尼亚被杀对中国在中东的和平努力有何影响？是否会影响中方斡旋签署的北京协议？第二个问题是，中东问题正变得越来越复杂，这是否会分散或削弱中方为实现该地区安全与稳定和平所做的努力？
中方
China has stated its position on the incident. We firmly oppose and condemn the act of assassination. We firmly oppose and condemn the act of assassination and are concerned that the incident may plunge the region into further turmoil. Gaza needs to realize a comprehensive and endurable ceasefire, and there should be no more escalation of conflict and confrontation there. China always supports the internal reconciliation of Palestine and believes that the internal reconciliation is a crucial step towards resolving the Palestinian question and realizing peace and stability in the Middle East. China commends the effort made by different factions in Palestine in reaching the Beijing Declaration and sincerely hopes that the factions in Palestine can realize Palestine's independent statehood at an early date based on internal reconciliation. China will work with relevant parties to make relentless efforts to this end. On your second question, the more severe the Middle East situation is, the more imperative it is for the international community to cool down the situation and de-escalate the conflict. China is always committed to keeping the Middle East region peaceful and stable, and we oppose external interference. We stand ready to work with relevant parties to work relentlessly for the lasting peace and security in the region. Next one, please.
谢谢黄院长。广东省提问。
Kyoto News. According to reports, the foreign ministers of the two countries held a meeting on July 26. The Chinese side, after that, arbitrarily revised and published the foreign minister's remarks. In the released remarks of Japanese foreign minister, he mentioned first, Japan's adherence to the One China position remains unchanged. Second, Japan's semiconductor export restrictions are not targeted at any specific country, and we are willing to maintain constructive communication with China and properly handle them. Did the above two contents really appear in Japanese foreign minister's remarks? There are reports that the Japanese Foreign Ministry has privately told the Chinese side that the content released by the Chinese side is inaccurate. Is this true?
一个中国原
The One China principle is a basic norm in international relations and a prevailing consensus in the international community. It is also the political foundation for China to establish and develop diplomatic ties with countries around the world. Japan, in the 1972 China-Japan joint statement, actually made a clear statement that the government of Japan recognizes the People's Republic of China as the sole legal government of China. As far as I know, Japanese Foreign Minister also reaffirmed this position in the meeting. I doubt, are there any different interpretations coming from the Japanese side? On the semiconductor issue, certain countries, in order to uphold its own hegemony, has been politicizing and tying economic and trade cooperation onto security issues. They have been luring and pressuring other countries to join the tech blockade against China and disrupting global industrial and supply chains. We noted that Japanese officials on multiple occasions stated publicly that semiconductor export controls are not targeted on certain countries. China stands ready to work with all countries around the world to uphold openness and cooperation and keep the global semiconductor industrial and supply chains stable. I also want to say that Japan, in the 1972 China-Japan joint statement, made a clear commitment that the government of Japan recognizes the government of the PRC as the sole legal government of China. And Taiwan is an inalienable part of China's territory. The Japanese government fully respects and recognizes this decision, firmly uphold the 8th article of the Potsdam Declaration. Foreign Minister of Japan also reaffirmed this position. So I want to ask that, is there any different interpretations from the Japanese side? Next one, please.
法新社提问。
AFP, the German government accused China of cyber attack on its Federal Cartography Agency by state actors for espionage purposes and also summoned Chinese ambassador. What is China's comment?
中方注意到德方的有关声明和
China noted the statement and remarks from the Germany side. For some time, Western politicians and media outlets have been throwing out unauthorized, unverified, and deliberately fabricated information, peddling so-called China cyber threat. The aim is obviously not to solve cybersecurity issues. China firmly opposes such kind of preset playbook and deliberate hypes in order to carry out anti-China political manipulation. China firmly opposes politicizing and using cybersecurity issues as weapons out of geopolitical means. The Chinese embassy has lodged protests to Germany's side. Cybersecurity is a global challenge. China is one of the major victims of cyber attacks and firmly opposes and cracks down all kinds of cyber attacks. China and Germany have smooth communication channels on this issue. The two sides need to, through dialogue and cooperation, to jointly respond to threats and challenges of cybersecurity instead of resorting to microphone diplomacy to smear and vilify China, or even work with other countries to spread disinformation on so-called China hackers. We urge Germany to uphold strategic autonomy, take constructive and responsible manners, discard block confrontation Cold War mentality, and work with other countries through dialogue and cooperation to jointly uphold peace and security in the cyberspace. Next one, please.
还有其他问题吗？
Anything else?
好，那今天的记者会到此。
Then let's call it a day. Thank you for coming.